In the remote landscapes of Sudan, an unusual scene unfolded as a massive crocodile lumbered into a small village. Its movement was painfully sluggish, a stark contrast to the typical predatory grace of these ancient reptiles. The villagers immediately sensed something was amiss. The creature's distended belly appeared grotesquely swollen and misshapen. Driven by a mix of curiosity and compassion, they decided to investigate the animal's condition. As they carefully opened the crocodile's body, they were met with a shocking revelation that defied all explanation. The contents of its stomach were so extraordinary, so utterly unexpected, that it left everyone present stunned and questioning how such an impossible item could have been found in this isolated, barren landscape. The mystery of the crocodile's unusual cargo would become a tale whispered among the villagers for years to come. Michael's heart pounded in his chest as he inched closer to the massive crocodile. Known for his bravery, he now found himself struggling to suppress his nerves. One misstep could mean disaster. Yet, Michael knew his mission: to save the animal, a delicate operation requiring precision and resolve. With great care, the crocodile's swollen stomach was carefully cut open, revealing its contents. Michael's eyes widened in shock as he stared at what lay inside. How could this be possible? The question swirled in his mind. Was he in time to save the giant creature? What had caused its distress? And why did he feel so compelled to risk his life for such a dangerous animal? In the muddy waters of the Nile, crocodiles are a common sight. These ancient apex predators have roamed the river for generations, patrolling the currents in search of prey. For the locals, avoiding these creatures is a way of life. Parents teach their children early on to steer clear of crocodile territory, believing nothing good ever comes from an encounter. Michael, a 38-year-old resident of a small Sudanese village near the Nile, had lived by this wisdom his entire life. He met his wife here, raised a family, and tended to a farm that provided more than enough for their needs. The villagers held Michael in high regard, not only for his kindness, but also for his legendary fearlessness. His courage had earned him the role of an unofficial leader, someone the community turned to in times of crisis. This crisis, however, was unlike any they had faced before. An enormous crocodile, larger than any the villagers had ever seen, had left the river and settled in an unfortunate spot, blocking the channel that directed water from the Nile to their farms. This vital irrigation system, their lifeline for sustaining crops, had been cut off. The situation was discovered by women washing clothes by the river. Shocked by the sight of the colossal creature, they realized the full gravity of the problem and rushed back to the village to report it. Michael wasted no time. Observing the crocodile for himself, he noted its sluggish movements as though it was in pain. The villagers watched anxiously as he approached, their trust in him unwavering. Michael understood the stakes. Not only was the water supply critical to their survival, but the creature's suffering could not be ignored. What would he find, and would his actions make a difference, for the crocodile or for the village? The villagers debated various solutions to the problem, with many suggesting the most straightforward approach: kill the crocodile and have everyone help move its massive body. But Michael strongly opposed this idea. From a young age, he had been taught to value life, and to him, killing such a rare and majestic creature felt wasteful and unnecessary. Fortunately, Michael remembered someone who might be able to help. A few weeks earlier, a visitor had come to their village to discuss humane ways of managing wildlife conflicts. The man, a wildlife conservationist named Jason, had urged them to avoid killing large or rare animals whenever possible. He'd even left his contact information, encouraging them to call him in situations like this. Michael wasted no time and reached out to Jason, explaining the predicament. Jason, a conservationist from the UK, was dedicated to preserving the lives of endangered animals, especially those as rare as this giant crocodile. However, there was a problem. Jason couldn't reach the village in time. The villagers, desperate to restore their water supply, began revisiting the idea of killing the animal. Jason pleaded with them to reconsider, even offering to send food supplies to ease their immediate needs. Killing the crocodile might solve their short-term problem, but Michael was a man who thought beyond quick fixes. He understood the long-term consequences of such actions. After much persuasion, the villagers reluctantly agreed to spare the crocodile. But this decision raised an urgent question. How could they save it? Jason suggested involving an expert who could guide them remotely. Michael managed to arrange a video call with a leading veterinary specialist for reptiles based in the United States. As Michael filmed the crocodile from different angles, the vet examined the footage carefully. It didn't take long for the vet to identify the likely issue. The crocodile's stomach showed a large, unnatural bulge. Based on its location, the vet theorized that the animal had swallowed something indigestible, blocking its stomach and causing severe illness. This would explain the crocodile's lethargy and lack of energy. The question now was clear. What had this crocodile swallowed, and how could Michael and the villagers help without endangering themselves or the animal? The vet explained to Michael that the only way to save the crocodile was to remove the foreign object lodged in its stomach. This would require cutting the animal open, a risky and dangerous task. Michael relayed the vet's instructions to the villagers, and as expected, every eye turned to him. He knew none of them would volunteer for such a perilous job, and he couldn't blame them. The responsibility rested squarely on his shoulders. Still, Michael managed to convince the villagers to help restrain the crocodile for his safety. Together, they returned to the village to gather supplies. They prepared ropes to tie its powerful jaws shut, cloth to cover its eyes, and additional ropes to secure its body to the ground. Their plan involved pinning the ropes firmly into the earth to ensure the crocodile couldn't move during the procedure. Once back at the river, the villagers began tying the crocodile as planned. Despite its size, the animal barely resisted, a clear sign of how weak it had become. With everything in place, Michael readied himself for the operation. The vet remained connected via video call, offering step-by-step guidance while another villager filmed so the vet could monitor Michael's actions in real time. Using a knife sterilized in fire to eliminate bacteria, Michael made a small incision. To his relief, the crocodile barely reacted. 2 more careful cuts gave Michael access to the stomach, and almost immediately, the obstruction pushed its way out. To everyone's astonishment, the object was a worn blue football. Michael stared in disbelief. Where had the crocodile found this? Nobody in the village owned such a ball. It was a mystery how long it had been lodged inside the animal. There was no time to dwell on it, though. Michael had to act fast to close the wound. Following the vet's instructions, Michael carefully stitched the crocodile's stomach and taped its leathery skin as securely as possible. Meanwhile, some villagers fetched older fish to use as bait to lure the animal back to the water. By the time the fish trail was laid, the crocodile had been freed from its restraints. To everyone's relief, it already appeared more energetic than before. Slowly but eagerly, the animal followed the scent of fish back to the river, clearing the water channel in the process. With the stream flowing freely again, the crops were saved, and the villagers' hard work had paid off. As Michael dialed Jason to share the good news, Jason was overjoyed. He promised that his organization would send the village extra food and supplies as a gesture of gratitude for their remarkable efforts. The entire village erupted in joy when Michael shared the good news. They gathered to celebrate, united by their collective effort and quick thinking that had saved not only the giant crocodile, but also their crops and livelihoods. Michael had risked his life for the operation, and the outcome couldn't have been better. As the crocodile swam back into the Nile, its energy and natural instincts seemed to return. The villagers watched in awe, marveling at its immense size as it slipped beneath the waters, free from the pain it had endured. For many, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, not only witnessing such an extraordinary event, but also playing a role in it. Michael's actions had done more than save a life. They had solidified his reputation as a brave and wise leader within the community. His courage inspired pride and admiration among his neighbors. In the weeks that followed, Jason's organization delivered on its promise, sending supplies that further improved the villagers' quality of life. As for the crocodile, it was occasionally spotted in the river, now keeping its distance from the village's water channels. The villagers joked that it had learned its lesson about swallowing footballs. For Michael, the experience was a profound reminder of the delicate balance between humanity and nature, and the importance of compassion, even toward the most formidable creatures. Life in the village gradually returned to normal, but the tale of the giant crocodile and Michael's heroism became the stuff of legend. The story was told and retold, destined to be passed down through generations. Each time someone saw a crocodile gliding through the river, they couldn't help but recall that unforgettable day and the man who dared to make a difference against all odds.